TV. We're here right now. My name is Lowkey from the Roundup Show. If you recognize my face and my voice. But today is not the Roundup. Today is a very, very special presentation, performance, conversation, everything in between. Florida native is in the building. Upcoming EP is about to drop very soon. And 3 singles out, and you just dropped Questions. But we're going to get into all of that beautiful information later. But I just want to introduce you. Jac Ross is on the program today. What's going on, baby?
Yo, how you doing, brother?
How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing good. I'm hanging in there, staying inspired, man. How about yourself?
Listen, I'm trying to, stay inspired the best way I can. It's only but so much I can do in this studio apartment in Harlem. But my spirits are high and my health is good, so that's all I can really ask for. And I guess we could start there in the spirit of what's going on in America, the quarantine, the pandemic. It's put us in our position to sit down, to rethink things, to be safer, and to take care of ourselves, mentally and physically. So I want to ask you, how are you dealing with this entire situation? What are your methods of coping and how are you holding up?
Most definitely. I'm doing pretty good, I look at all the positives, such as being home with my wife and my kids. And, it's just something you don't get a lot of time to do when you're on the road. And, also it kind of brings me back to my grassroots. Just being home. I can remember on the grind before I got signed, I was like literally recording from my dining room and things of that nature. So it kind of returned me to that same kind of creativity again, and having to really create from thin air out of just really a box, you know what I mean? So I'm just like everyone else, and just staying as creative as I can to keep my mind in a good position.
And, as you talk about creativity, the settings and the environments are very different from you as opposed to being in a studio and, a professional setting. Now you're at home with the family and the kids, and the environment and the inspiration may change. Does it alter how you write? Does it alter how you create being around the family? Is it, does it hinder? Does it give you more inspiration?
You know what? I think it does help at times. I always write from a standpoint of view of life. So right now I'm just currently writing about what's going on and how it's affected each of us, and then having the kids around, of course, the hindrances can be just trying to get it done. But I love it.
All right, so let's talk about your grassroots. You grew up in Florida. Are you in Florida? Where are you at right now? Just so
right now I'm in Live Oak, Florida. That's where I'm from.
That's where you're from. Okay, so you're back home. You're at the grassroots. Your sound has a very heavy church influence, backbone of the church, the skeleton of the church. You grew up in the church, correct?
Yeah, I'm a father. My father is a pastor, so I'm deep in it.
The music, obviously the music is a heavy component of the church. Did you know that did the church influence your musical aspirations is what I'm trying to say?
Well, you know what? It's kind of a weird thing for me, because as much as I grew up in the church, growing up, I never really liked a lot of church music.
Okay.
Just to be honest with you. But the music that my father turned me on to and leaned me on was a lot of Sam Cooke and Marvin Gaye, which he thought that was some of the best music in the world. And I naturally gravitated towards that. But gospel music as a whole was not something that I just loved. But some of the influence is just naturally there.
Did you grow to love the gospel influences, or did you go to love the gospel music and the artists as you got older and as you started to find your voice and your niche? Did they play a role in your creation of what you make today?
You know what? Just keeping it 100, I never really grew to just attach myself to gospel music. I just think, again, being around church so much, it's natural to get some of the church because I'm around it so much, but also just, again, I just never was a huge gospel music listener so much.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So growing up in Florida, I grew up in New Jersey, New York, so obviously I would see things differently and you would see things differently. Growing up, what were some of the things that you saw? Because your music is very truthful. It's very authentic. It's very, you know, at times can be gut-wrenching, like on questions. You're asking some very, very difficult questions. What are some of the things that you saw growing up that influenced your mind and your writing ability, your writing style?
Sure. You know, growing up, a lot of the things, especially living in Florida, I've seen a lot of injustice.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people treated unfairly. And even sometimes I've experienced those things just growing up as a young teenager, walking down my own road and being called out of my name as though I've done something wrong, or just simply walking to go play basketball. You know, it's still, you know, in my community, I consider a very tight-knit community. It's about 8,000 people. Everybody knows everybody, but it doesn't stop as a whole injustice. It doesn't stop police brutality. It doesn't stop all of those things from happening. And I believe, again, I come from one of the greatest communities in the world, but things still do happen. So I've seen a lot of bad, but I've also seen a lot of good as well. And I believe the good and the bad is where I get the scope of life. That's what I try to write about through the lens of life as a whole, rather that be good, because there's good in life.
Yeah, of course.
So, you know, just take it all from the environments where I've grown and give it to the world the best way that I know how to.
And you're gonna give it to the world in a very, very short time. The EP is coming. Do we have a date?
No date yet.
No date. Do we have a title?
Yes, The Truth Revealed. The
Truth Revealed. Okay, and 3 singles are out right now. Saved, It's Okay to Be Black, and Questions.
Yeah.
I don't want this just to be a back and forth conversation. I want you to give this, you know, the listeners an experience. You know, this is the best way we can do it because we are not outside. We're not going to be able to get any clubs, any concerts. So we're doing it the best way we can. So the first one I would like to hear, if it's okay with you, is Saved. Can you before you go into it, can you explain the inspiration behind Saved?
Yeah, so Saved is a song that was written by a friend of mine named Ryan Edgar, and it was a phenomenal song. Him and Darkchild worked on it, and just a little backdrop. When they sent me the track, I was not the hugest fan of this song, and it wasn't until I started seeing people. One, I put my own spin on it, but it wasn't until I started seeing people naturally gravitate to this song, and so many people inbox me still today about Saved, just how much it's rescued them and helped them so much. So it's grown to be one of my favorite songs, and he wrote this song in a really dark place like some of us are in right now, and it's just a song that gives so much inspiration and hope, and I hope it does that for somebody as they listen.
All right, man, let's get to it. This is Jac Ross, the single off his new EP coming very soon. We call this Saved right here on Revolt TV.
Let's get it. Now I know that I done wrong, but I'm gonna keep trying. May I lost so many times before, but I'm gonna keep fighting. Everybody's gonna fall down sometimes, but I can't stay down long. When that light shines down on my face, I'll rise from the ground. Lord knows I prayed my heart would be too strong to pray. Oh, so I could just take. Oh, I'm just gonna wade through the water and let every wave wash the darkness away. Oh, I'm gonna be saved. Hey, I'm gonna be saved. Oh, I'm gonna be saved. Well, I'm scared, but I'm gonna stay. 'Cause I'm tired of running. And I might seem crazy, but I'm gonna keep loving. Anything is possible if I just hold on and believe. Feel like it's always so heavy on me, and I can't be free. Lord knows I'm afraid my heart would be too strong to break. Oh, so I could just take. Whoa, I'm just gonna wade through the water and let every wave wash the darkness away. Oh, I'm gonna be saved. Hallelujah. Can I get a witness? Glory, glory, glory. Lord knows I pray my Lord would be too strong to pray. Oh, so I could just take. Oh, I'm just gonna wade through the water and let it wash the darkness away. Oh, I'm gonna be saved. I'm gonna be saved. Gonna be saved. Yes, I am. Oh, I'm gonna be saved.
Man, beautiful. That's something right there. And a lot of, it's funny, like a lot of the music that, the singles that we're getting from you right now are speaking individually and as a collective to what's, going on, just not with the pandemic, just, social injustice, police brutality, just being Black, period. It's speaking every little component, but comes full circle. So if you're just tuning in, that was saved right there by Jac Ross and the EP Truth Revealed.
Yep, The Truth Revealed.
The Truth Revealed. We don't have a date yet, but hopefully it'll be coming very, very soon. So let's jump back into this interview. You told me earlier your father put you onto Sam Cooke and Marvin Gaye.
Yeah.
And if anyone who has two ears and who has heard Marvin Gaye and Sam Cooke can obviously hear it in,
thank you.
They can hear it in you. Now, who was it that told you that you had the resemblance was there, or was it you that just connected so closely that you kind of self-proclaimed it?
You know what? Honestly, it was me listening to so much of the music, and pulling from those guys, and then trying to find my own sound. No one ever actually told me like, "Oh man, you sound like Sam Cooke or Marvin Gaye." No one actually ever told me that, and it hasn't really been until recent times that people are beginning to say it more. I always tried to just develop my own sound, but I thought that those guys were so skillful that I should glean off of them a little bit.
Is there a pressure because now the music that you make, it's promoting truth, it's promoting Blackness, it's promoting self-awareness, and these things Marvin and Sam kind of shined in. Does it kind of have a boulder on your back, like, okay, these things come with these comparisons, and sometimes artists may not know how to deal with that category. Does that affect you?
You know what? I don't think that it affects me, and I think that my mindset is very simple. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel, so to speak. If I could carry on a little bit of what those guys have done, that'll be great. But the main thing is to continue to spread the message of truth. That's what I'm trying to convey to the best of my ability.
And, you have a very, very great relationship. You're under the guidance of a great, OG, if you want to call it that, Rodney Darkchild Jenkins. I want to really just discuss how does that relationship start, then it leads to the paperwork, then it leads to the creation, then it leads to the EP. I'm sure there's a big process. I don't want to keep you all day, but how did you guys connect?
You know what? I'll give you the quick version. Buddy of mine named Mezzo worked in a Florida mall down in Orlando. 2018, Rodney happened to be in there Black Friday with his son. Mezzo recognized who he was, and immediately he started trying to sell him some of his songs. Like, hey, I got some songs, this and that.
Yeah.
Rodney's, I don't know if it was just the holiday spirit, but he gave him his email. And we're just like, yo, just don't blow me up. Just don't blow me up.
Right.
And Rodney starts leaving. He says, by the way, if you're looking for any legendary voices, I know a guy. And Rodney stops him. He said, hey, don't ever use those words again. Those words, that doesn't exist. And,
wow.
So Rodney goes to his car. And of course, he told him not to flood his email, but of course he gets.
But he did it.
This long. And on that list, a song I wrote with Mezzo was the last song and the only song of mine that he sent. And that was the first one he played, thank God. And he played it, and immediately he put the car back into park, got out and went back in the mall and found Mezzo and said, I gotta find this guy. So I then drive about 2 weeks or so past, and I drove 2.5 hours to Orlando, Florida, to Rodney's home, sung for him in person. I sung A Change Is Gonna Come. And that sold him. And from that day forward, we've been rocking. And he immediately let me know that he wanted to sign me, which he did. And we later partnered with Island Records over at Universal. So we've been rocking heavy. We've knocked out like 88 songs. Our chemistry is phenomenal. I believe we can create forever if we never left the studio. So it's been nothing but fun and just plenty of fun.
And I'm sure there's little, trinkets that you've left out, and the first recording session, and the creative process, and how you guys may disagree and go back and forth, and we can save that for the documentary, after you win your Grammys and everything. But how involved is he in the Truth Revealed? Is he executive producer? Does he produce on? Is there everything? Is it from him, or is he picking and choosing from other people? What's his process?
He is pretty heavily involved in this Truth Revealed project. Again, if I be honest with you, we knocked the majority of this project out in Florida.
Okay.
He stayed like 3 months. He ended up sending his family back to LA. He was just addicted to what we were doing. And he really knocked out the majority. There was some help from a few people that I'm not going to name because I don't want to mess nothing up or not include.
You don't want to jinx somebody. You don't want to jinx it.
Yeah. Again, over 90% of the work was definitely done by Darkchild.
And what's the tone of the EP? I mean, you've already set the tone with, Saved, and we're going to get to It's Okay to Be Black next, and then Questions after. But is self-righteousness and, community and awareness and faith, is that the tone of what this Truth Revealed is going to sound like? Sure.
I think the way I explain it is dark and light. And sometimes the dark is, talking about those social injustices and things of that nature. But the light is also going to be revealed in telling you how we can make it out of what we're in right now. So it's going to be a very nice project all the way around. And I think that the public is going to accept it very well and just love it and run with it.
I mean, these 3 songs are already indication of what's to come. And, I know I'm personally excited to hear what more you have in store. So, let's get into the second performance, It's Okay to Be Black. And I saw that you had told I forgot who you had told, but the inspiration had came from your daughter. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So It's Okay to Be Black. The inspiration was from my oldest daughter. Um, she was just naturally just a dark-skinned child at birth. And, sometimes even in our own communities, it can be tough being a dark-skinned person in the Black community for whatever reason. And she was just my inspiration.
And just a black woman also, just a black woman, period. Yeah.
Exactly. You couldn't have said it better. And I just wanted her to know, like, yo, you're beautiful, you're smart, you're intelligent, you are perfect the way you are. And it's okay to be Black. It's okay to be the person who God made you to be. And we just were able to birth such a pretty dope song. And I think it's something that she can always hold on to forever.
And before you jump into this, I wanted to just ask you real quick, are there hints of musical aspirations with the children? Especially now you being at home and you're creating at home. Do they listen? Do they ask questions? Do they play with the equipment?
Man, I tell you what, my kids are very musically inclined. And my oldest is 4 and my youngest is 2, but my oldest, she sings very well. She has a very good ear. I can't get my youngest off of my equipment at all. And it's like she wants to run to the most expensive thing she can find. So yeah, they love music, man. But sometimes they freak me out a little bit because I'm thinking I don't want to pay for this again.
Yeah, you don't want to pay for this again. It's not, especially not right now.
Not right now.
I got my guy Jac Ross in here. The Truth Revealed will be out very soon, the debut EP. But we're just running some tracks off the project, and this second one right here is, speaking to what's going on currently, just as Black men and women in the entire world, not just America. So, he couldn't have said it better himself on this track or in a conversation. So we got It's Okay to Be Black. Jac Ross is right here with Lowkey, right here on Revolt TV. Let's get into the second performance. Take it away, Jac.
Let's do it.
Creatures in the whole world.
Looking at this generation, feeling homeless. Looking across my shoulder, keep my eyes open, keep my mind focused. Ain't no hocus pocus, cause when it's all said and done, they will all know us. Trying to keep us down, keep us at our lowest. They thought you broke us, but you woke us. Be a leader, not a follower, modern day Moses. Cause I'm the water to the seeds that become roses. Don't let no one put you down. Let me see you smile. And don't cry, daughter. And don't cry, baby. Get up, my son, I'm taking hold you back. And don't cry, children. Shine, shine. You're beautiful inside. Yeah. Rise up, rise up. And don't you know you can fly? The darker the berry, the sweeter the juice. You've been a life, I'm speaking the truth. Just like a panther, that's out of the loose. I stand for the people and fight for the youth. Don't let no one put you down. Let me see you smile. Don't cry, daughter. And don't cry, baby. Get up, my son, I'm taking hold you back. And don't cry, children. Shine, shine. You're beautiful inside, yeah. Rise up, rise up. Don't you know you can fly? World will judge you, but God knows your heart. They say they love you, but leave you in the dark. Child, when you fall down, you better get up. Go dust your crown. Victory is a word. Don't cry, daughter. And don't cry, baby. Get up, my son, I'm taking hold you back. And don't cry, children. Shine, shine. You're beautiful inside, yeah. Rise up. Don't you know you can fly?
Jac Ross right there. It's okay to be black off the Truth Revealed, man. That was beautiful, man. You almost had me jumping off my couch and screaming to my neighbors. I have to ask this question, and sometimes it's frustrating for me to even have this notion, but is it frustrating to you to have to continue, or is it frustrating as a culture to continue to have to reaffirm that it's okay to be who we are? It's okay to have our skin color. It's okay to have our characteristics, our traits, our habits. Does it frustrate you when you write these type of songs that, damn, I still have to make a claim. I still have to etch it in stone. Not other artists don't have to do this. Other, entertainers, musicians, actors or actresses. Does it frustrate you that you have to go this route sometimes to say, hey, it's okay to be me? Like, does that?
That's a great question. I'm actually very enthused and very proud to be the one to say these things. And I do understand it is frustrating from the standpoint of view that we haven't arrived yet. And when I say we haven't arrived, as a nation of people altogether, all people, we haven't all accepted the principle that it's okay to be black, or it's okay to be anything, but in this case, it's okay to be black. But again, I will refer to something I said earlier about not trying to reinvent the wheel. There have been people, in the past that have done the same thing that I'm doing, and I'm just trying to continue the message. And hopefully one day, another artist won't have to continue this message. Hopefully the message will finally be heard enough to say, okay, it is okay to be black. So it's tough though.
And the root of that question also came from, you explaining to your daughter about, her darkness and how it is beautiful,
Sure.
regardless. So do those conversations, are they becoming, frustrating because she may start coming to you because the world is a big open book, and there's social media and Twitter and Instagram, and they can see the racism, and you can see the, people just picking each other out and picking on each other. So I'm sure those conversations will happen as she gets older. So I just wonder how you felt about that.
You know what? They will certainly happen. And you can, in a sense, say that in writing the song, it's almost as this letter has been written, it's almost like just in case you need this.
Gotcha.
Here's a reminder.
Here's a reference. Here's a footnotes.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Gotcha. I was doing my research, yesterday and earlier today. You deemed yourself as the faith dealer. And that's a very interesting way. And as we get into your music and, just reading about you and reading your come up and your idea of what music should be coming from you, the faith dealer pretty much is a very great description of your music. And especially someone who grew up in church. I mean, not me per se, but you and other people can relate to that. Your music is a vessel for, faith, for, just perseverance. And it is that. What, for you, what does that mean to be someone that delivers faith, delivers truth, delivers the pain that we are still going through? What does that mean to you as an artist?
You know what? As an artist, as an individual, it means the world to me. And the reason why is because that's my mission, to give people faith, hope, inspiration, and transformation, man. It's not even about the money. It's not about being the most famous person. That's not what it's about. There's too many famous people not making a change. There's broken people in every community. And I'm hoping to be one of the next artists, and one of many artists, hopefully, that will change the message to convey this hope. It does me a lot of good when I go into these clubs and I see some of the most hood guys in tears and broken down. It's because they needed it. You know what I mean? And I feel like, we as people, as individuals, we all carry so much on a day-to-day basis. And you need that faith and you need that hope to break through to the next level. So it does me a lot of good. It's not a burden. And it is personally like a great mission of mine that hopefully I can accomplish as an artist.
And, music is always looked at, or, for me at least, as therapy. You know, it brings you out of, you know, grieving, you know, loss of a job, relationships, obviously like relationships, love and heartbreak, and, you know, just overall life in general. And I believe that what we're getting from, you know, these 3 songs can help you, you know, navigate through those processes through life. So what I want to ask you before you go into your last song is, you know, what's one thing people are going to take away from the truth revealed when everything is said and done? You know, restoring faith, restoring love, you know, having a better understanding of your own community. Like, what's the one thing that you want them to take away from the truth revealed?
Well, you know what? The biggest thing, and I think the most important takeaway of anything, this project should cause one to look at oneself and nobody else. You know, with the next song that I'm getting ready to do, actually, you know, one of the questions in this song is, how do I question you, but question myself?
Right.
I had to realize in my own life that while I'm asking and wondering about other people and what's going on in society, what's wrong in my own life and what can I do to fix myself before I try to fix somebody else? And I'm not claiming that I got it all together, but definitely this EP is going to cause you to look at yourself and fix some things and just provoke your own thoughts. That's the goal.
And sometimes looking in the mirror, and when you're creative, or I mean, we're just a person in general, is a very, very hard thing to do. You know, I had to look in the mirror about a lot of things that you don't want to, you know, so yeah, you don't have, there's a lot of conversations you don't want to have with yourself, let alone other people. And so, you know, I commend you honestly for, you know, putting things out there, especially with questions. There's a lot of things that, you know, might ruffle feathers or maybe make people uncomfortable, but that's the whole point of being a creative, is to shake the table and to make sure people are listening and understanding what's being said. So, you know, last joint right here, you know, you pretty much just broke it down for us. This is Questions. You just released it, and the video is out right now. And it's got a nice sample from I Can Love You, produced by Rodney Jenkins from Mary J. Blige. The sample flip right there. So just those who have listened and can't remember where that sample's from, that's where it's from. So Jac Ross, man, you know, after you perform, I'm gonna ask you one more question, but I'm gonna save that till after you perform. But you know, man, take it away. This is Questions, the new latest single from The Truth Revealed by Jac Ross, right here on Revolt TV.
To God and take a life. If they beat you down and treat you like you don't have any right, will you stop killing what was created just to live? Are the people who fight and forgive, do they exist? Can we make this work if we don't learn to stand as one? Do you ask for change when the same old thing just gets redone? Do you call on now when wisdom just can't be found? Can I really say when everyone is asking me? How do you love your neighbor if you don't trust your brother? How do you pray all day but your home still suffers? How do you love your child but don't respect your mother? How do I question you but question myself? Gonna be the one to take us to the promised land? Is the hope my father tried to make me understand? Will we see that hate divides and separates? Can I really say when everyone is asking me? How we grew and know your children die young? How can we stop these killings but allow to buy guns? How can you act like the man but can't raise your son? How do I question you but question myself? I may not have all the answers, but I know when I trust in God, you work it out. And he may not come when you want it, but it's right on time. All good things come after a while. My Lord, my Lord. How do you trust headlines when the words are hidden? How are you happily married but chasing a women? How can you be a saint last night you were sinning? How do you trust the systems when the crooks run prisons? How do you eat off the tree when you know it's forbidden? How do you whoop your child when they talk you don't listen? How do you preach a word but still can't live it? Oh, how do I question you but question myself? Na 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 question.
My man, Jac Ross, man. Listen, brother. That just sums up everything. That's, especially what's going on right now. Everybody's got so many damn questions about what this is, what this pandemic is, when we're gonna be done, who is it really affecting? Is it man-made? It's just so many different things that we all are trying to tackle. But like you said, if you can't look yourself in the mirror about your own shit, then you're doing it right. You're doing it very, very wrong. But yeah, Jac, thank you for sitting with me. I don't want to keep you too much longer. The Truth Revealed, hopefully we'll have a release date for it very soon. And please, I would love for you to come back on this Revolt TV platform and, let's deep dive back into that project. But please, one more question. Are you familiar with Versus?
Versus?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so Versus is Swiss Beats and Timbaland are on Instagram Live in their Yeah. So it's been a lot of chatter of, JD and maybe Puff and Rodney and maybe Brian. Who do you want to see battle in this whole Versus situation? I have my picks. I want to see Rodney battle, but I don't want to push that on you. But what I mean, like, who you?
No, listen. I want to see Rodney battle, but in my own opinion,
You're right.
Rodney versus anybody is not a battle.
Uh-oh.
In my own opinion, that's just me. Maybe I'm a little bit biased, but listen, the man has hits for years.
No, I know. Like, and I'm not, and he's been getting, from my point of view, he's getting a little bit more chippier. I can see it building up because, people are starting to get a little reckless. Everybody's still inside. So the smoke is being directed in different places.
Sure.
But I see he's kind of itching. He's itching to get in the ring with somebody. I don't know who. And like you just said, it's not a battle.
It's not a battle, man. But you know what? It's going to be all fun no matter.
Yeah, of course.
Rodney is just like the most humble guy, but my gosh, the work is just like crazy. The catalog, I'm just hoping to be remembered in his catalog as one of the greatest as some of the people he's got.
Listen, man. I appreciate you being here, man. The Truth Revealed coming out very, very soon. Anything else, social media, Twitter, let them know where you're going to be at. If you got anything coming up, man, just plug it right now.
Hey, make sure you follow me on Instagram at Jac Ross. That's JACROSS. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel at Jac Ross. Again, that's JACROSS. And hey, Lowkey, man, I appreciate you having me on and just taking time out of your day, man. It's crazy out here, but I appreciate what you're doing, man. And just stay focused and stay positive.
Thank you, brother. The Truth Revealed will be out very soon, and I will be looking for Jac Ross. Stay safe, stay healthy, and keep creating, brother. from the family over at Revolt TV, we appreciate you, man. Be safe.
Be safe, brother.
All right.